The stars were quiet. Then a signal came. It was weak, broken, full of static. But something inside it made the listeners freeze. A voice. It was human. "This is Captain Elias Ward. Earth is falling. We did everything we could." There. Too many, then silence. The message had no ending, just static. It traveled across space for years until it reached a small listening post on a distant moon. The alien technician, young Reich named Vel, played it again and again. He didn't understand the full meaning. But the fear in that voice was clear. He called his commander. The signal was sent to every allied species. Earth had gone to war, and it had lost. 2 years earlier, Earth's skies were full of fire. Alien warships broke through the clouds like knives cutting paper. They came fast without warning. A new empire, the Zorvans, wanted Earth's water, land, and minerals. They didn't care about humans. They saw them as weak animals. The humans fought back, with jets, missiles, ships, and soldiers. But the Zorvans were stronger, bigger. Their machines were alive. They crushed cities in days. The United Nations sent one final message to all nations. This is not just a war for Earth. This is a war for human survival. In secret, the world leaders met underground. They had one last plan, one final hope. They called it Project WILDFANG. Project Wildfang was never supposed to be used. It was dangerous, unnatural. Years ago, Earth's scientists had begun working on it in secret. They had grown animals, predators, smarter, faster, deadlier. Lions, wolves, bears, snakes, tigers, even birds of prey. But these were not normal animals. They could understand human speech. Some could even speak a few words. They wore armor. They trained like soldiers, but they were hard to control. Some said they were too dangerous, that they would kill humans too. So the project was locked away until now, in a base deep under Alaska. Cages opened. A low growl echoed through the halls. A tall man in a white coat stood in front of a black wolf. His eyes were deep, glowing gold. "You remember me, don't you?" the man whispered. The wolf stepped forward. No sound, no fear. Just calm rage. "I'm sorry," the man said. "We need you now." The wolf tilted its head, then nodded across the world. The predators were released. In Brazil, jaguars moved like shadows through burning trees. In India, tigers hunted Zorvan. Scouts one by one in the oceans. Great white sharks followed human submarines into battle. The Zorvans had never seen war like this. One Zorvan commander sent a message back to his homeworld. Earth's beasts fight beside them. They use them like soldiers. We killed the humans. But the planet itself fights us now. In the ruins of London, a team of human soldiers marched through fog and ash. Behind them walked animals, wolves, lions, even a massive gorilla with metal armor and red eyes. A little girl hiding in a broken car saw them pass. Her mother held her close. "Monsters?" she asked. Her mother shook her head slowly. "No, they're ours." The battlefield near Tokyo, Captain Elias Ward led. A small team of soldiers and predators. His closest ally was the black wolf from Alaska. His name was Omen. Omen didn't growl. He didn't bark. He only watched. He always knew when an attack was coming, and he never missed a kill. That night, Captain Ward sent a message to anyone who might be listening in space. "This is Captain Elias Ward. Earth is under attack. We're fighting back. But if you hear this, know that we didn't fall alone. Our predators ride with us." A loud roar sounded in the background, then static. In space, the message was found again, years later. The Reich technician played it one more time. He looked at his commander with wide eyes. "You think it's real?" he asked. The commander stared out the window at the stars. "Yes," he said, "and I fear we made a mistake." The Reich tilted his head. "What do you mean?" The commander turned. "If Earth trained its beasts to fight, and they still lost, then what did they unleash to survive? The stars outside suddenly felt colder. It was night. Cold wind moved through the broken city of Berlin. Smoke filled the sky. Fires still burned. A young Zorvan scout crept through the rubble. His name was Crass. His job was simple. Watch the humans. Report what they were planning. He moved quietly, step by step. His long fingers gripped his scanner. One wrong sound, and he'd be dead. Suddenly he heard something. A breath, not human. He turned fast. Nothing, just dark. Then a growl, low. Close. He froze from the shadows. Two golden eyes stared at him. A black shape stepped forward. 4 legs, silent steps, sharp teeth. Long tail, a panther. It didn't growl. Again, it just watched him then. In perfect Zorvan language, it whispered, "Run." Crass didn't ask why. He ran. Back at the human base near Berlin, the new army was growing. Humans and predators together, Captain Elias Ward stood on the rooftop. Beside him sat the giant black wolf Omen. Below, wolves trained with soldiers. Tigers leaped through fire drills. Hawks flew over drones. It was like a new kind of war school. No one had ever seen anything like it. Omen watched everything. He didn't speak often, but when he did, humans listened. "These animals," said a soldier. "They don't act like animals." "They're not," said Captain Ward. "They're brothers now." Some humans were still afraid. Not all predators were calm. One bear had smashed a tank by mistake. A snake had almost bitten a medic, but something had changed. The animals followed orders. They moved like soldiers. They protected their teams, not because they were forced, because they chose to. A video was shared between human bases in it. A lion stood beside a wounded soldier. Aliens attacked. The lion didn't run. He roared and charged. He didn't make it back. At the end of the video, the soldier said, "He didn't die as a beast. He died as my brother." People cried watching it, and something deeper was born that day. A bond in space. As the other alien species started talking, the Jethri Empire sent a warning to the Zorvans. Earth's animals are not animals anymore. You woke a wild army. But the Zorvans laughed. They are pets. It's nothing more. They didn't understand in secret. The humans and predators made a pact. It wasn't signed on paper. It was made in blood and trust. Predators would fight. Humans would protect them. Side by side, they would defend Earth. They called it the Predator Pact, and it changed everything. The Zorvans tried to strike again. They sent a massive ship to land in the forests of Canada. Their scanners said only 10 humans were nearby. They were wrong. They didn't scan for wolves 40. Wolves attacked from the trees. They moved fast, silent, perfect teamwork. By the time the humans arrived, the Zorvan ship was already in flames. Only 2 wolves were hurt, but one human soldier stayed with them. He held the injured wolf and whispered, "I'm here. You're not alone." The wolf licked his hand, then died. That soldier never forgot. In the African deserts, lions and cheetahs raced beside trucks full of soldiers. In the mountains of China, snow leopards watched the skies and gave warning howls. When alien bombers flew too close, in the deep forests of Russia, bears dug out alien camps before humans even found them. Earth was changing. The predators were no longer just hunters. They were heroes. In the command center, Captain Ward stood beside Omen. "You've saved thousands of us," he said. "Do you help us?" Omen stared ahead. "We remember," he said slowly, "how you protected us, raised us, fed us, cried for us when we died." Captain Ward was quiet. "You don't owe us," he said. "We don't serve," said Omen. "We choose." But not all was perfect. One predator, a cobra named Whisper, had begun asking strange questions. "Why do we fight for humans? Why not lead?" Another predator, a silver eagle, warned the humans. "She speaks too much." Captain Ward sent a message to all teams. "Remember, trust is earned, but doubt spreads fast." In a hidden Zorvan lab, scientists studied recordings. Of the Predator Pact, one of them stood up and said, "If we don't stop Earth now, the beasts will teach other planets." The galaxy will never be the same, another whispered. We created monsters. No, said the commander. Earth did. That night, Omen stood on a rooftop alone. He looked at the stars. Somewhere up there, another war was coming. He could feel it. And when it came, they would be ready. The wind blew cold across the mountains of Norway. Sky was gray. A Zorvan dropship hovered above the clouds, silent and invisible. Inside sat 3 alien spies. Their mission was clear. Find out how Earth controls the beasts. The Zorvans had fought humans before, but this war was different. The humans didn't fight alone anymore. They fought with wolves, with snakes, with lions and hawks. Creatures that should fear lasers and bombs, but didn't. The Zorvans believed the animals were controlled by machines. Or drugs. They had to be, because the truth was too dangerous. The dropship landed quietly in a dead forest. The spies moved fast. One scanned for life signs. Nothing. The second spy, named Vrax, whispered, "This place was a zoo once." War. Old cages stood empty. Trees had grown through them. Silence ruled. Then a noise, not loud. Just a soft hiss. Too soft. The third spy turned too late. A long green body fell from above. Fangs struck. The spy screamed, then fell dead. The other 2 stared. A cobra slithered out of the trees. It wore a small metal collar. It didn't run. It looked straight at them and said, "Why are you here?" Back at Earth's main warbase, Captain Elias Ward watched the skies on a large screen. His second-in-command, Sergeant Nia Reyes, stood beside him. "Another Zorvan ship landed in Norway," she said. "Send a scout," Ward replied. "I already did." Behind them, Omen, the Black Wolf, spoke quietly. "They are hunting answers. But they won't like what they find." Back in Norway, the 2 spies followed the cobra into the trees. They didn't attack. Not yet. They needed answers. The cobra led them to a hidden cave. Inside, carvings lined the walls. Old stories of humans and animals, hunting together, dying together. One spy touched a drawing of a man and a wolf side by side. "Is this how you see yourselves?" He asked. The cobra hissed, amused. "We do not serve humans. We walk beside them." "But why?" Brax asked. "You'll see." Then everything went dark. The spies woke in cages. Across from them stood a massive brown bear. It stared through the bars, then spoke. "You think we were made to obey?" Vrax nodded. "Yes." The bear laughed. "We were made smarter. That part is true. But no human tells me what to do. I fight because I choose." "You lie," Vrax hissed. "You're animals." The bear stepped forward. "We are Earth." Meanwhile, Captain Ward received a new report. A hawk team spotted the spy ship. One predator was injured, another missing. He turned to Omen. "Do we kill them?" Omen shook his head. "No. We show them the truth. That's more dangerous than death." Ward agreed. In the cave, the cobra returned with others. A lion, a hawk, cheetah. They all sat near the cages, quiet. One predator, a black panther, walked slowly around the Zorvan spies. "You fear us," she said. "You should. You don't fear animals," Vrax replied. The panther growled. "We are no longer just animals." Spies were released at dawn. They were allowed to walk free, confused, shaken, still alive at the edge of the forest. A message was burned into the ground. "Tell your leaders, Earth is not alone." The spies returned to their ship and flew away. Fast in space, on the Zorvan command ship, the spies gave their report. One general growled. "They are brainwashed." "No," said Vrax. "They are something else now." "Then we end them," said the commander. "All of them." Other general spoke carefully. "If other species see Earth's success, they may copy it. We must act before this spreads." Back on Earth, something else was happening. Predators had begun speaking to each other more. Across forests, oceans, deserts. They used human radios, human words. But sometimes they spoke in ways humans didn't understand. Omen stood on a hilltop. With a silver eagle, the enemy fears us, said the eagle. They should, Omen replied. But we must be careful. Fear turns to hate. At the same time, deep underground, Svorvan machine activated. It had one goal: send a false message to Earth's predators. A message that would say, humans plan to turn on you. In the final scene, the camera zooms in on the face of a tiger. Sitting quietly near a human campfire, he listens to a small radio. A voice begins to speak in his ear. They lied to you, the humans. They never meant to keep the pact. The tiger opens his eyes wide, cold, confused. The camp was quiet that night. Soldiers sat by the fire, cleaning their gear. Nearby, a group of predators rested. Panther slept. With one eye open, a wolf dozed near the radio tower. Cheetah paced in silence, always alert, but one was missing. The tiger, named Ashfang, had not returned from patrol. Captain Elias Ward looked over the map. He was last seen near Grid 9, he said. There's no movement since. Sergeant Nia Reyes frowned. Could he be injured? Omen, the black wolf, stared into the dark forest. His voice was calm, but heavy. No, he's not lost. Then where? Is he? Ward asked. Omen turned his head slightly. He's thinking 3 days earlier. Ashfang had listened to a strange voice through a hidden radio signal. It was not a human voice. It's not Predator either. It was fake, but clever. They fear you, the voice said. They only use you until you are no longer useful. They will turn on you. Ashfang didn't believe it at first, but the voice continued. It played short recordings, pieces of human conversations taken out of context. We need control. They're dangerous if we can't keep them in line. If they turn on us? Ashfang's eyes narrowed. He didn't speak to anyone. He walked into the forest and didn't return. At the main base, Ward met with the high command. Screens showed maps, battle footage, and rising reports of tension between some animal units and soldiers. Not all predators were happy anymore. One lion refused to take orders. A group of hawks flew off course and didn't respond for hours. Even a bear broke a weapon. Locker, after hearing something strange on a nearby radio, they're acting odd, said one general. Ward nodded slowly. Something's wrong. Someone is getting into their heads. Ullman stood beside him. It is not just lies, he said. It is fear. In the forests of Siberia, Ashfang walked alone. He hunted food, slept in caves, avoided humans, but he was not running. He was watching. He had met a wild wolf, not one. Trained by humans, she had no name, no armor, no voice, but she spoke with her eyes. Why do you follow the humans? She asked him one night. Ashfang said nothing. She stared at him. I don't belong to them. Ashfang finally replied. Don't belong to anyone. I fight for survival. The wolf tilted her head. Then why do you wear their armor? Ashfang looked down at his chest plate and said nothing. Back at the base, Captain Ward sent out search teams. We need to bring him home, he said. Sergeant Reyes raised a question. Ward turned to Omen. Omen's single quotes eyes didn't blink. Then we remind him why he stayed. A scout team, 1 human, 2 panthers, tracked Ashfang's scent across frozen hills, but the trail stopped near a burned village. There, they found a strange device half buried in snow. A Zorvan radio transmitter. It had been destroyed. By claws, Ashfang had found it first and crushed it. Ashfang returned days later. He stood at the edge of the base. Soldiers raised their weapons, but Ward raised his hand. Hold fire. Ashfang dropped his armor on the ground. Scratched, burned, damaged. I don't fight for a uniform, he said. I fight for Earth, for truth. Stepped forward. What did you learn? Ashfang growled softly. They want us to fear you, and they want you to fear us. Omen joined them. We do not fear. We choose. Ashfang nodded, but not all of us understand that. Next day, the base held a gathering. All Predator. Units and soldiers stood in a circle. Omen stepped into the center. His voice carried. Across the field, we are not machines. We are not weapons. We are protectors. He looked at the younger Predators. You feel doubt? I did too. But doubt is not betrayal. Then Ash Fang stepped forward. I walked alone. I listened to lies. But when I looked inside myself, one thing, he turned to the humans. You did not chain us. You fought beside us, and you bled for us. He lifted his head. That is why I stay. The crowd was silent. Then one wolf howled. Then another, and another. Soon the field shook with the sound of predator cries, a sound of unity. In space, the Zorvons watched. They didn't break, said a general. Even with lies, another commander growled. Then we try something new. He pressed a button and activated Project Holofang. Back on Earth, a young hawk flew above the base. Her eyes scanned the trees. Far below, something moved. Not human, not predator, something. Made to look like both. A shape stepped into the clearing. It had 4 legs. It's like a wolf, but metal skin, red eyes, and no soul. The hawk shrieked a warning, but it was already too late. The first attack came at dawn. A scout team near the black. Forrest sent out a distress call, then silence, Captain. Elias Ward heard the last message. There's something out here, it looks like one of ours Batites Nautits. Static. Line went dead. 4 soldiers and 2 predator scouts went to check. They found broken trees, burned ground, deep claw marks in the earth. But no bodies, just blood. And one strange thing, a trail of heavy metal footprints, shaped like wolf paws. Back at base, Omen stood beside Captain Ward, staring at the screen. The photos made his fur rise. That's not a beast, Omen growled. That's a weapon. Sergeant Reyes looked confused. Built to look like one. Of you, Ashfang, the tiger, paced behind them. It's worse. It's built to make humans fear us again. Ward clenched his jaw. They're trying to break the pact. Deep underground, in a hidden Zorvan lab. Project Holofang had started weeks ago. Zorvan scientists had studied thousands of predator scans. Their teeth, their speed, their voice tones. Then, they built something cold. A creature with no heart, no fear, no voice of its own, just pure violence. A Holofang. It looked like a wolf. It moved like a panther. It struck like a machine. No. Blood, no pain. Just death. In the dark forests of Eastern Europe, more reports came in. A bear unit was found. Torn apart, but not eaten. The wounds were clean. Precise Alliance squad disappeared without a fight. Their trackers stopped suddenly, as if they had just vanished. Captain Ward stood in the war room, staring at the map. These aren't random attacks, he said. They're hunting only predators. Omen looked up slowly. They're trying to turn us against each other. The next night, the base was quiet, too quiet. A panther named Shade was on night patrol. Her eyes glowed in the dark. Her ears twitched at every sound. Suddenly, she heard a soft growl. She turned. It was a wolf. No, not a real one. Its eyes were red. Its fur was too smooth. Its teeth were glowing. It didn't speak. It charged. Shade leapt back just in time. She called on the radio. It's here. It's not real. It's metal. Alarms blared. Soldiers ran. Out. Predators circled the clearing, but the Holofang was gone, vanished into the trees like a ghost. Morning came with silence. Captain Ward stood beside the wreckage. 1 dead hawk, 1 wounded cheetah, and 1 message scratched into the ground. In claw marks. They will fear you again. Inside the base, fear began to grow. Some younger soldiers whispered, what if the animals can't control themselves? What if that metal thing was one of them? Trust was cracking, just a little, but enough. Ward gathered all predator leaders, Omen, Ashfang, Shade, a white falcon named SKY. He stood before them. We need to hunt this thing together. Show the world we stand as one. Omen nodded. But we hunted our way. That night, the hunters became the hunted. Omen led the tracking team. Shade followed the broken branches. Skyreach flew ahead. Scanning the land, they moved fast, silent. Then Skyreach cried out a signal target found. In a ruined village, the Holofang waited. It didn't run. It stood still, watching them. No heartbeat, no scent, no soul. Shade stepped forward. "Why do you wear our face?" The machine didn't answer. It just attacked. The fight was brutal, faster than any panther, stronger than any bear. It moved like a shadow, hit like lightning. Omen leaped on its back, bit through wires. Ashfang struck from the side, claws against steel. Shade blinded its left eye. But still, it fought. Until Ward arrived. He held a high-frequency pulse gun built from Predator tech. He shouted, "Clear." Pulled the trigger, the gun screamed, the Holofang froze, shaking, then collapsed. Sparks flew, its red eyes went dark. Back at base, they studied the machine's brain. It wasn't just built to kill, it was built to record. It had sent everything. It saw back to the Zorvans. Every fight, every Predator weakness. Omen growled. They wanted us to see this thing, to fear it, to doubt each other. Ashfang nodded. And some of us almost did. Ord looked at them both. We can't let them break what we've built. In space, the Zorvan commanders were watching. One general looked angry. They destroyed our prototype. Another smiled. Yes, but we planted the seed. The next attack won't come from us. The others turned to him. He whispered, it will come from inside their own pack. In the closing scene, a wolf named Gravel sat alone in the woods. Away from the base, his eyes stared at a hidden transmitter. Buried in the dirt, it blinked once, and a voice said, "They fear you now. You saw it." Gravel said nothing, but didn't walk away. The base was quiet, too quiet. Omen stood at the top of the watchtower. His ears twitched. Something felt wrong. Down below, soldiers trained as usual. Predators ran drills, but no one noticed that one wolf was missing. Gravel strong, loyal, trusted. But now, it's gone. Gravel had not left a note, no radio message, just his armor, scratched with one word. Liars. Captain Ward stared at the armor in silence. He looked too. Sergeant Reyes. Get eyes on the forest. If he's still out there, we bring him back. Reyes nodded. Alive? Ward hesitated. Yes, if we still can. 2 days earlier, Gravel sat near the edge of the forest, listening to the voice on the Zorvan transmitter. They fear you. They fear all of you. They hide it with smiles, orders, praise. But you heard them. You saw how they looked after the hollow. Fang. Gravel closed his eyes. He remembered the fear. How a soldier pulled his gun too fast. How another refused to walk beside him that night. And how no one said a word. Back in the war room, Omen studied the map. He's not just hiding. He said he's doing something. Captain Ward frowned. You think he'll turn on us? Omen's voice was low. He already has. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, Gravel was not alone. He had found a group of rogue predators, loners, bitter, afraid, angry. A bear named Rook, a hawk named Talon, and 3 others who had once fought beside humans. Now, they trained in silence, not to help, but to fight back. Gravel walked among them. The humans don't see what's coming, he said. They built the pact to control us, not to walk with us, Rook growled. We protect our own now. Shh. The white falcon flew over the northern hills. She spotted signs, claw marks, predator trails, broken branches. She returned to base fast. They're building something. Camp. Weapons. It's not just Gravel anymore. Ward turned to Ashfang. Can you reach him? Ashfang shook his head. He doesn't listen anymore. He only hears his fear. That night, the base alarms rang. A weapons depot had exploded. Ammo lost. 1 soldier injured. A message was painted on the wall in claw marks. No more chains. Captain Ward held an emergency meeting. We're being hit from the inside. Omen stood beside him. The Zorvans planted this. Not with bombs, but with doubt, Sergeant Reyes said. So what now? We hunt our own. Ward looked tired. No, we talked to them first. One last time. Ash Fang went alone. He walked into the forest. Unarmed, a shadow moved in the trees. It was Gravel. The two faced each other. You shouldn't be here, Gravel said. Ash Fang sat down. I had to come. You were my brother once. Gravel's eyes were cold. And now Ash Fang spoke softly. Now you're scared. And I understand. But fear doesn't make you right. Gravel growled. They used us. No, Ash Fang replied. They stood beside us. He pointed to his scar. A human gave me this. Not from hate. From saving my life. Gravel didn't answer. He turned and vanished into the trees. Ash Fang sighed. He's already gone. Later that night, a message was sent from the road camp. To every human base, the pact is broken. Leave our lands, or we will take them back. Back at the Zorvan command ship, the generals watched. One smiled. They divide themselves now. The beasts break the chain with their own teeth. Another laughed. Time to press the next button. He opened a file. Project Ember Sky. Back on Earth, Omen sat quietly by the fire with Captain Ward. I tried to warn you, Omen said. This bond between us is strong, but it's not perfect. Ward looked at him. Do you still believe in it? Omen turned his golden eyes toward the stars. I believe in choice, and I choose to stand beside you. Ward nodded. Then we win. Together, in the final scene, Gravel stands on a cliff, watching the lights. Of the human base in the distance, Talon, the hawk, lands beside him. They're moving, ready to strike. Gravel closes his eyes. Just for a moment, he remembers laughing with Omen, running beside humans, fighting to protect Earth. Then he opens. Them cold now, they had their chance. It started with fire. A bright orange flash tore through the morning sky, then a second, then 10 more. The air screamed as strange metal pods crashed into forests, rivers, and mountains. Each pod exploded, not with fire, but with heat. A strange heat that melted steel, cracked rocks, and turned trees into dust. The sky burned. They called it Ember Sky, a new Zorvan weapon. A weapon made to end the war and destroy the Earth's spirit. At the base, soldiers scrambled for cover. Drones flew to scan the pods. Captain Ward stared at the satellite images. It's not a bomb, he said. It's a trap, Omen growled. For us, or them, Ward answered quietly. For everyone. Far away, Gravel and his rogue predator. Pack watched the burning horizon. The firelight danced in their eyes. Rook, the bear, spoke first. Is this the humans' doing? Gravel said nothing. Talon the hawk flew back from a scouting mission. He landed hard, feathers smoking. That wasn't human fire. They've awakened something worse. Gravel looked toward the human base. For the first time, didn't feel anger. He felt fear. Ashfang and Skyreach returned from a destroyed. Village houses turned to ash, animals gone, no human survivors, just a strange symbol burned into the ground. 3 sharp lines. A triangle. A circle. Omen saw it and froze. I've seen this before, he said, in the old Zorvan war logs. Nice. It's not just a weapon, Ashfang asked. Then what is it? Omen's voice dropped low. It's a cleansing machine. Send it when they want to wipe a world clean. Captain Ward gathered everyone, humans and predators. He stood on a high platform. His voice was firm. We're not just fighting soldiers now. We're fighting extinction. Ember Sky is a Zorvan system built to erase everything life, tech, even memory. They don't want the Earth. They want it gone. Ashfang growled. Then we fight harder. Omen nodded. But we can't do it alone. Ward looked. At the crowd, no. We need Gravel. Meanwhile, Gravel stood alone in the ashes of a forest. The fire had passed. But nothing was left. No birds, no trees, no sound. Only smoke. He coughed once, then twice. Rook came behind him. You can't stay out here, Talon added. The others want to fight back. But they don't know where to aim. Gravel finally spoke. What if we were wrong? Rook growled. About what? Gravel stared into the smoke. About who the real enemy is. Back at base, Skyreach flew to a secret meeting point in the hills. There. Oh. She dropped a small glowing chip in the grass. A minute later, Gravel stepped out of the trees. They looked at each other, no words at first. Then Skyreach said, "The sky is falling, brother." Gravel looked away. "You came alone," she nodded. "I had to." Gravel slowly reached into his bag. He took out the Zorvon transmitter and crushed it. Beneath his paw, Skyreach smiled. Then Gravel said quietly, "Take me home." The next day, Gravel stood in front of the full camp, soldiers, commanders, and predators alike. He bowed his head. "I was wrong. I let fear guide me. I listened to voices that wanted me to hate." He looked at Ward. "I don't ask for forgiveness. Only a second chance." Ward looked around. Some soldiers still looked unsure, but Omen stepped forward. "We don't erase the past, but we write the next chapter together." Then, one by one, the predators howled in support, and slowly, the soldiers clapped. Gravel was home again that night. The final Ember sky pods began to open. But something changed. The fires stopped spreading. Instead, they shaped themselves. Long arms, legs, glowing red eyes, creatures of fire and metal. They walked out of the wreckage, silent and deadly. The last phase of Ember Sky had begun. They were called Ashborn, not machines, not life, something between, and they were coming. Captain Ward. Omen and Gravel stood on the hill, watching the horizon burn. Ward said, "How do you kill something that doesn't breathe?" Omen said, "You don't. You bury it," Gravel growled, "or burn it back." The sky was dark, not with clouds, but with Ashborn. Hundreds of them, walking from the Ember sky pods. Their bodies were made of fire and metal. Their eyes glowed red. They made no sound. They didn't come to fight. They came to erase. At Earthbase Alpha, the final meeting began. Humans, predators, even Gravel's rogue pack. All together, Captain Ward stood before them. "This is it," he said. "We are the last wall. If we fall, Earth falls with us." Omen stepped forward. "We are not prey. We are not alone. We are brothers now. We charge as one." The room roared. Even the youngest soldier knew. This was the endgame. The plan was simple. Strike first. Hit hard. Use everything, even old Zorvin tech. Gravel led the forest strike. Skyreach and her hawks. Tacked from above, Ashfang and the lions protected the flanks. And deep underground, Captain Ward and Omen prepared the core weapon. A pulse. Bomb made from predator tech and human science. Not a nuke. Something smarter. It could shut down the Ashburn signal, but only up close. Too close. The battle began at dawn. The earth shook. Ashborn came in waves, each one stronger than the last, but the earth forces didn't break. A bear charged through fire to save a human squad. A cheetah carried ammo across a minefield. A wounded soldier held off 3 Ashburn with just a knife. The pact was no longer just a promise. It was real, but the Ashburn kept coming. Gravel fought like a storm. He leaped onto a burning mech, tearing into its neck. He looked back at Rook. The bear was down. Talon screamed from the sky, shot by a heat beam. Gravel roared. In pain, fall back. Fall back. But the Ashburn didn't let them go. Then, from the North Hills, came a surprise. Backup, old predator clans. Long forgotten, snow leopards. Wild dogs, ravens. They had seen the sky. They had heard the call, and they came. The ground shook again, but this time was Earth's roar inside the mountain base. Ward and Omen reached the Ashburn signal tower. The pulse bomb was ready. Wires, flashing lights, and a countdown. Ward looked at Omen. "If this goes off too far, it won't work. If it goes off too close, we don't make it out." Omen smiled. I was never meant to grow old. They placed the bomb near the heart of the tower. Omen stayed behind. Outside, the Ashburn leader rose. 10 stories tall, a creature of pure energy. It screamed, and every Ashburn lit up. They moved faster, harder. Gravel saw them shift, and he knew they're trying to stop the pulse. He ran back toward the mountain. Ashfang tried to block him. You'll never make it in time. Gravel didn't stop. He ran faster than he ever had. Inside the tower, Omen stood before the pulse core. 1 minute left. He stared at the faces of his brothers in his mind, at Captain Ward, at the humans at Gravel. He whispered, I believe. Then, just before the bomb reached zero, Gravel crashed in, bleeding, burning. He tackled Omen out. No dying alone, he growled. Omen stared at him. In shock, Gravel said, we end this together. The bomb went off. A wave of light flashed across the sky. No sound, just silence. The Ashburns stopped mid-step. Their red eyes flickered, then went dark. One by one, they fell smoke. Ash gone, the world went quiet. Soldiers dropped to their knees. Predators lifted their heads. The fire was over. The Earth had survived. 1 week later, Gravel sat beside Omen on the hill. His leg was bandaged. Omen's arm was missing, but both were alive. Captain Ward joined them, holding a flag. It wasn't just Earth's flag. It had a new symbol now, a lion and a human hand, side by side. Ward planted it in the soil. For all who stood, he said, for all who fell. They stayed silent a moment. Then Omen whispered, let the stars remember us. In space, the last Zorvan general watched the screen. He saw Earth still standing. He saw predators and humans, laughing. Rebuilding, he turned to his advisor. It didn't work. The advisor nodded. No, there's something else. The general grunted. Close the Earth file. Let's find a weaker world. Final lines. The Earth was still burning in places, still healing. But the war was over, and the bond was stronger than ever. The predators didn't go back to hiding. They stayed. They helped rebuild. They became family, because when Earth went to war, its predators rode beside us, and they never left.